The Celtic Forever podcast is a zero advert and zero profit channel. The channel also includes Celtic highlights and player interviews, so join the uninterrupted fun and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.
Hi again, folks. I am Xander from the Celtic Forever podcast. I've got John with me here to go through all the weekend action, including Celtic 1, St Mirren 0 at the Paisley Stadium, John. It was an absolutely fantastic last-minute winner. Performance wasn't great, but we will go through that. We'll also go through the manager latest on Nancy coming to Celtic. We'll go through the Green Brigade latest also as well. As I say, full reaction to the St Mirren game also. We'll do a predictor, we'll do the competition as well, and we'll have a wee dive into the Ibrox fiasco where Livingston were denied a penalty. We'll go through the lot. But how are you, John? Anyway, after the weekend's action, it was not a bad weekend. You know, if that Livingston penalty would have been given, it could have been a fantastic weekend.
I seen that incident with the Livingston penalty. What can you do about that? That's just, again, cheating. Basically cheating again. It's a stonewall penalty.
Yeah, of course it is, John. We'll touch on that when we do the predictor a wee bit later. But it was, it's all over the place. Normally these things are covered up, but this one is actually all over the place. Sky Sports, BBC Sports, on the radio, on the TV. VAR getting a hard time because of it. It makes a change from, Celtic getting a decision and the VAR getting a hard time. But no, it's Rangers this time. Do you think Rangers will be writing to the SFA for answers on that one, John? I doubt it very much. Right, John, let's get into it then. Nancy, he is expected to arrive at the start of December, John. Nothing confirmed, obviously, but also could be earlier. John Nancy could be the Celtic manager a bit earlier if his backroom staff are sorted out as well. So that's the delay, John. It's his backroom staff. But it's looking as though Nancy is the man for Celtic. We just need to get his assistant manager and his coaching staff sorted out.
I was watching a video last night of some guy analysing his tactics and all that stuff. A lot of nonsense, you know what I mean? Analysing tactics in a couple of games that he played in. How it's an exciting style. But that's it. That's all I've seen about that. I had to look it up to see what this guy's all about. I mean, look, managers and coaches, they don't always get it right because you found a couple of clips where his team played well doesn't mean he's a fantastic manager. I'm not saying that he's not a fantastic manager. We welcome the guy to Celtic and hope he does his best for the club. But just these guys that put this stuff on, analysing 2 games and thinking, this is why he's a fantastic manager. Look, you've got to see the bigger picture. You've got to see a manager for the success that he's had. And so far, I don't think he's had any success. I think he's won a cup or something like that. I'm not too clued up on it, by the way. Ange Postecoglou had a lot of success, didn't he? Unknown manager. Came to Celtic and was an absolute revelation. So let's hope this boy proves to be pretty much the same.
Exactly, John. We can't be. He had to hit the ground running as well, John, didn't he? But he has won a few trophies. John has won a league title and cups in Canada and America. Various trophies he's won, John. But he's not done anything in Europe, same as Big Ange actually. So we've just got to wait and see how successful he is, John, because he's going to be replacing Martin O'Neill, who hasn't put a foot wrong apart from that one European game, John. He's closed the gap on Hearts. He's got us to a League Cup final also, John. I wanted to see Martin here at least until the start of January, but it looks as though that's not going to be the case.
Aye, well, there you go then. He did well while he was here. He could still be in charge for the Hibs game next week, of course. Another huge game into Hibs game. But no, look, the new guy, we welcome the guy on board. I'm just saying, people that put these clips on YouTube and that proves somebody a fantastic manager because of 2 clips. You've got to do a bit more research than that. He's done more research than me, mind you. But I don't buy into this. The same as I don't buy into, compilation clips of players that are joining the club. You can get a look at them, see what they're like, but it doesn't make it the player, as they say.
No, it does not make it the player or the manager for that case. But, we wish him all the success when he eventually does come to Celtic, because as I said a couple of minutes ago there, John, he's got to hit the ground running. Massive games coming up in the league. You'll have a cup final as well, and you'll have, the Glasgow Derby coming up soon as well at the end of December.
Game against Hearts as well, Sander.
Yeah, the game against Hearts also. Yeah, massive games, John, coming up. Massive games. So he's really got to hit the ground running, and I'm sure that he knows that. I'm sure he's well aware of that, if indeed he does become the Celtic manager, because nothing is confirmed as of yet. All right, John, that's enough of that. We'll move on to the next bit of news. The Celtic fan groups, your Green Brigades, etc., John, they didn't attend the game against St Mirren due to, this 6-match ban the Green Brigade had away games, Green Brigade ban. So they attended the Celtic B versus Cowdenbeath game at the weekend there. They're setting off flares. Apparently it was a fantastic atmosphere, but the kick-off was delayed as well. A game that Celtic B lost 2-1, by the way, and I got that right in the predictor, but anyway, we'll get to that later. But no, John, we've noticed a difference on Saturday against St Mirren, John. We noticed the Green Brigade and the fantastic atmosphere that they bring. We noticed that atmosphere was missing.
It was missing, but they get a lot of flack, the Green Brigade, off the board, didn't they? I mean, it's got to stop. This nonsense has got to... Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that.
That's a first on the Celtic Forever podcast. A live sneeze.
I actually pressed mute, and because I sneezed, it unmuted it.
Nothing, John. Nothing should ever put you off a sneeze. That's priority over everything.
Aye, it was. I mean, like I say, I tried. My finger was over the mouse to mute it, and because I sneezed, it unmuted it.
Brilliant.
Anyway, we were talking about the Green Brigade missing from the St Mirren game. The atmosphere's away when the Green Brigade are absent. I don't know what the solution is. Obviously, the Celtic board have obviously had enough of it. But as Celtic fans, we like the Green Brigade being there because they create the atmosphere around us. Wherever they go, they create a massive atmosphere for the Celtic players. And it spurs them on to perform better. And like we've seen on Saturday night, pretty poor performance, to be honest with you, from Celtic. Fantastic ending to the game. Pretty poor performance. And I think when the Green Brigade are there, that definitely gives the team a huge backing. And it wasn't what's about the weekend, what the Green Brigade actually mean to the Celtic players. It's not all about the Celtic board, it's about the Celtic players, Got to have the right fans in to carry the team over the line, Xander. And when they're missing, it shows on the park.
Yeah, definitely showed on the park on Saturday, but we'll get to that in 5 minutes, John. But that was definitely the case. The Green Brigade were definitely missing. I think that the treatment of the Green Brigade is quite poor a lot of the times, John, from Celtic. It really is. All the stories from the Green Brigade bands, etc. And they do a fantastic job for Celtic, stadium tifos, etc., John, and then they get all these bands. And we know the Green Brigade aren't, angels, we do realise that, but they do bring that fantastic atmosphere. And touching on the board, John, Peter Lawwell, on that EGM fiasco on Friday afternoon, telling the shareholders, John, to behave. I only saw that the other day. This guy is, he really annoys me, Peter Lawwell, because you shouldn't be telling adults to behave like they're wee 3-year-olds, John. I know maybe some of them are acting like 3-year-olds, but no, you don't say that to adults, especially when the world press are there, John, at an AGM, telling them all to behave. And to be honest with you, John, ever since Lawwell's came back, this is where all the problems have started.
Aye, I suppose it is, because when Ange was in charge, you never seen Lawwell. Team was flying. Big Ange had a fantastic time, got the right players in and all that stuff. Then return of Lawwell and things go pear-shaped again.
Yeah, the return of Lawwell, and we sit here today talking about what we're talking about, John. That's the bottom line. It's an absolute mess. Lucky to get a win at the weekend, very lucky to get a win. That could have been easily another 2 points dropped. But as I say, we'll get to that, John. Okay, right, we'll move on then, John. We will move on because there is quite a wee bit to get through. In fact, let's get into the St Mirren game, John. Let's get into it right now because we're talking about it anyway. We might as well do the reaction to that 1-0 win for Celtic. Fantastic win, John. I was absolutely elated. And I'm going to tell you the truth here, John, right? This is what happened for me on Saturday night. And this is the truth. I was watching the game, the 94th minute. I'm saying to myself, Celtic, no chance. There was a goal kick to St Mirren on the 94th minute, John, with seconds to go. And I said, I've had enough. I'll turn TV off. That's it. It's 2 points dropped. And I was later on that night, John, maybe about an hour later, it came up on one of the news feeds, St Mirren 0, Celtic 1. And I couldn't believe it. It was like Christmas Day. I could not believe it. Right back onto the TV, put on the catch-up, and sure enough, yeah, there it was. John Callum McGregor with an absolutely outstanding goal. I mean, a goal worthy of winning any game at all. And he bullets that shot right into the back of the net, John. Goalkeeper, no chance. But that's what happened for me in that game, John. I didn't know Celtic had actually won the game until about an hour after the final whistle.
Well, I know that because you texted me to tell me that Celtic had won because I did the same thing.
Stunning, John. It was just a great feeling. I've never felt anything like it.
Well, I think a lot of Celtic fans would have done the same thing at that goal kick. The whistle's going to go. That's it, finished. Celtic never looked like scoring the whole night, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of Celtic fans would have did the same thing and then got a surprise text off of somebody. I've seen it on a newsfeed or something. Because I don't think anybody expected to score, but look, what a finish from Callum McGregor. One of Celtic's goals of the season so far. Like he did it at Hampden against Rangers as well, the same thing. He's back to hitting these 25-yard screamers into the back of the net. Long may this continue. Look, the most important thing is we got the victory, the 3 points, and I think a lot of Celtic fans would have turned it off at that point. And well done to the Celtic fans that actually stuck with it for till the final whistle, because I was thinking the same as a lot of Celtic fans. Get this off, I'm never scoring now, that's it. Goal kick and that's it, finished. That was a big surprise when I got the text off of you, so fantastic night. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm normally one of the diehards that watches it to the whistle goes, John, but that was, I think it was because of the performance, John. It was really, really poor, as you say. And there was a nice wee layoff as well from Kobe Donovan, John. We spoke about him on the last podcast that he picked up the injury, stretchered off in a Scotland under-21 international. But he was only injured for the 7 or 8 days, John, so it was a quick recovery. A turnaround for Kobe Donovan, came on off the bench and laid it off to Callum, who rattled it in. I know it was just a layoff, but he had to do it. You know, if he didn't lay that ball off, he could have crossed into the box. But it was a lovely wee layoff to Callum, and as the rest is history, as they say. But we're just glad to see Kobe Donovan back fit as well, John. A couple of weeks before he was due to return, because I heard it was 2 to 3 weeks for him, and it was only about 8 days. So terrific news there as well.
He's a cracking young player, isn't he? He was there to set up Callum McGregor. It was all about Callum McGregor's first touch, that though, wasn't it? The wee outside of the boot to get past his player. Yeah. And then smashed into the roof of the net, right across the keeper. It wasn't like a bent shot into the corner or something. It was right opposite side of the goal, smashes it right across the other way. I've seen Lubil Miravchik doing that a few times. Maybe Callum's been watching A Gift from God before the game, I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. I think Callum's been watching a gift from God a few years ago, John, with those screamers he's hit. Yeah, you could be right. Right, this offside goal for St Mirren, a wee bit of, heat round about that. I suppose you're always going to get that, but offside goal for St Mirren, an offside goal's an offside goal for me, John. If it's given offside, then it's offside. That's the bottom line.
No, it's offside. It's 100% offside.
Yeah.
The guy's in an offside position when the ball's played. Liam Scales spots him. The guy's interfering with play. At that point, he's interfering with the play because Liam Scales sees him and tries to clear it. He's interfering with the play. Goal chopped off correctly.
Yeah, totally agree, John. You're going to get that, especially when Celtic score the last second winner. You're going to get that in for the press, Scottish press. Right, John. As I say, I watched it on Sky Sports. Everybody watched it on Sky Sports apart from the people that were there. This St Mirren supporter, John, that's the guy with the abusive language all the way through it, right? Why does St Mirren not eject this guy from the stadium? Because he's there in every single St Mirren game, and I mean every single one for the last few years. He's there shouting foul and abusive language at players, and it's no the microphones don't try and cover it up or anything. It's always picked up, and then you've got Ian Crocker having to apologise for it. And I think I had to apologise 12 times through that game. McFadden said he had 14 on the sweepstake. But why does St Mirren not eject this guy, or at least move his seat?
I never heard him, Sander.
You are kidding me on, John. You never heard the guy swearing and bawling?
No, I watched it on Celtic TV, so maybe they had their microphones turned off or something.
Dear. Have you never heard this guy before, John?
I know exactly the guy you're talking about. I think I mentioned him before, and I think it was a couple of years ago I mentioned him. I don't know if it's the same guy. I think it's probably because I never heard him last night. But there is a bit of an ogre in the crowd with St Mirren in it. But you get the guys every game, didn't you? Just constantly shouting abusive language. You have to move your seat or whatever when you're there. But I remember the old days at Celtic Park. They used to get that everywhere.
Yeah,
you always had some absolute halfwit. Imagine being his neighbour.
He's probably the nicest guy in the world when he's there away from the football. But no, they should move his seat then, John, because you're obviously sitting right in front of the gantry for the commentary. Because it's hard to listen to, John. It really is. McCowan, you wee beep. Tierney, get to. It's actually quite funny, but it's Crocker. I'm sick of hearing Crocker apologising, to be honest with you. So get him moved away from the gantry anyway. Just a wee point. Whenever any team, John, not just Celtic, when any team's playing at St Mirren Park. Right, John, let's get into the 1 to 10.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I need to watch more St Mirren games for a laugh, just to get a listen.
Yeah, they need to get a beat button, didn't they? Have a 3-second delay with their live feeds and have a beat button so they can beat this guy. It's quite funny, but it's annoying listening to Crocker having to apologise every 5 seconds. Anyway, John, that's enough of that. Who else? 1 to 10 individual player rankings. Then, John, this is going to be. If I'll have a wee word on the display first, John, right? I'll have a wee word on it because when I was watching the game on Saturday night, it looked, as you said earlier, John, but we're never ever going to score. It looked as though we were never going to score unless it was something miraculous, like what Callum pulled out the hat, John. The performance from the players was dreadful, John. Johnny Kenny up front done nothing. McCowan never done much, Hatate, very poor. Engels, very poor. Tierney, after his heroics for Scotland, John, to get us into the World Cup, done practically nothing. I just think when it comes to Celtic, John, I think these injuries, but this big pile-up of injuries, John, is really affecting the squad.
Look, if you're losing a lot of your best players, it's going to affect the squad. Of course it is, 100% agree with that. But you're still going to put in a better performance than that. These guys are signed for Celtic, they're on big wages. They've got to be performing better than that. I mean, if you want to play for Celtic, you've got to be a standout player in every game. You've got to have the fans on your side. I'm sure the fans were, I don't know if there was any Celtic fans watching that thinking, this is a great performance, because that's one of the worst I've seen. But it's St Mirren as well, you've got to remember, and it's just after an international break. So you've got to take these things into account. After an international break, the games are always slow paced. It's hard to get the team going, get them moving. And they were up against a fantastic team in St Mirren as well. You've got to take that into account.
Yeah. We play again a couple of weeks in the final, John, so that's going to be extremely tough, but that's a way down the road. Okay, John, we'll do the 1 to 10 individual player rankings then. And by the way, John, fair play to St Mirren, they did put in a top battling performance against Celtic. I think the last half hour, they must have been getting tired, and Celtic were pushing on a wee bit more the last half hour, but still looked as though we were never going to score. But no, as you say, John, they're a top team. They're a brilliant wee team. I know they're sitting 9th in the league just now, but that's a false position for me by the performances that St Mirren put in against everybody. And 1 to 10 individual player rankings, John. Against, I can't remember, I didn't write down the newspaper that this is from, John. I can't remember. Was it the Independent? I can't remember, but we'll do it anyway. It's against one of the Scottish newspapers, John. We'll do you against the Independent, John. On you go, buddy. Starting with Schmeichel.
I can't really blame Schmeichel. He never did anything wrong. He put off a couple of good saves. So for me, he gets a 7.
Yeah,
he always gets a 7 if it's a clean sheet,
Yeah, clean sheet. And I thought his distribution was a bit better on Saturday as well, John. But the Independent gave him, I think it was Independent. I'll just say the newspaper, John, because I don't know if it was the Independent. The newspaper gave him a 6, John. Ralston, on the left, you got that. By the way, your starting 11, John, was practically bang on for the game on Saturday. You said Ralston. I said it would be Big Poozy that would start this one, but it was Ralston, John. What was your score for him?
It's hard to remember. Nobody had a standout performance, so I don't know if he did anything wrong or he was exposed on the right-hand side. I can't really remember. But he never stood out as being one of the ones I was getting angry at, so I'll give him, just because he was in that team and the whole team performed pretty poor, he gets a 5.
Yeah, bang on, 5 for the newspaper as well. Okay, over the other side, that was Kieran, wasn't it, John? What did you think?
Quiet game by his standards. I can't say he had a great game, because he never had a great game. Like every player on the park, he gets a 5 as well.
Yeah, the newspaper also gave him a 5, so pretty accurate and close so far, John. Into the centre-back positions, big trusty. It's just a bit of this big guy now, John, into it. But what are you thinking about him?
I thought he was all right, trusty. And they were good at getting forward, the Celtic defenders, but that's not their job. Their job is to defend first and foremost, of course. But I think when him and Scales get forward, they looked quite dangerous, both of them, especially when Liam get put out to the left-hand side. I thought he performed well, but Trusty, I thought he was all right, Trusty, 6.5.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, 7 from the newspaper, John. And Big Scalesy?
Again, I think when he get put out on the left-hand side, I think, and he was getting forward and he sprays the passes and he makes himself available. I think Big Scalesy had a good game. I know he put the ball into the net for the OG, but it was offside, so that doesn't really matter. But I'll give Liam a 7. I thought it was good.
Yeah, 7 as well, John. Very accurate, very close scores here. Okay, into the midfield then. Calmack obviously scores the winning goal. And you've got to take that into your scoring, I suppose. It's either 1 point or 3 points without his goal, isn't it? So, what are you thinking about Calmack, John?
It's a hard role for Calmack. I think he was man-marked the whole game. Even before he scored the goal, we had a player sprinting out to close him down, but he's managed to get past him and leather it right into the top corner. But it was man-marked the whole game. It was hard for any player. I think that Stephen Robinson had his team man-marking Celtic players. That made it really difficult for Celtic. But Callum gets through, gets his goal. Wasn't a bad performance. Wasn't a great performance, but his goal was out of this world. I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, 8 from the newspaper there, John. Arna Engels?
That's a high score.
That is for a dreadful performance, if you're going to be honest, John. But Engels, Sean, what do you think about him? Back to his usual.
Aye, back to his usual, back to his best.
Poor Arne. even Martin can't get the best out of him.
Again, it's a tough shift for the central midfielders. I think they were all man marked. It was very difficult night. I think if you put any central midfielder in there, it's a hard shift for them against St Mirren. But he never did anything to say to me he had a fantastic game. It's got to be a 5 as well, Xander.
Yeah, 5 also, John, for the newspaper. And Rio, the sort of forward midfield positions he started. Israel, John, went to Israel. Because I know McKeown came on later, didn't he? What did you think?
I thought it was poor, Xander. The centre 3, I thought Rio had the poorest performance. It's unbelievable how many steps backwards that Rio has taken. But again, I don't think he's performed well for a good few games. It gets a 4.5 for me, Xander.
Yeah, 5 for the newspaper, John. But we definitely missed those balls getting sprayed left to right, forward through passes. Some of his pinpoint passes through to the forwards, John, were absolutely tremendous. We have not seen that in a long, long time. So we just hope that, if Martin can't get the best out of Rio, then we just need to hope that the new guy coming in, whoever that may be, gets a tune out of Rio, because he's not done it in weeks, as you say, John. So, as I say, 5 for the newspaper as well for Rio. Hopefully can pick that up on Thursday night. Okay, up to the forward line there, John. It was Maeda, Tanetti and Kennedy through the middle, but we'll start with Tanetti, John. What did you think of the wee man?
He gives his all, doesn't he? He tries his hardest. It's very difficult. He's up against 3, 4 and sometimes 5 defenders at a time. It's impossible, Xander. St Mirren were so well drilled, it's impossible for a winger to get any space. It's a hard shift. I don't like to be too harsh on the boy because he did try his best. I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, a 4, John, for the newspaper.
I can see why. They gave him a 4. I didn't want to be too hard on the boy, but it's you've got to take into account what he's up against. Half a team defending him. You've got to take that into account. It's a mission impossible. If Messi was out there playing, he would have a hard time getting by them. So you've got to take that into account. But I can see why he was given a 4. He never did anything to influence the game, really. So there you go.
Yeah, fair play. And over the other side, Dyson. Yeah, what are you thinking anyway, John? I was going to have my opinion, but I'll get your opinion first.
Again, never did much to influence the game. I know Johnny Kenny came off at half time and put Dyson through the middle.
Yeah.
But he never did anything there either. He never wasn't getting any service to do anything. It's hard to mark players when they're not getting any service to, feed them the kind of quality that they need. I think Dyson was poor as well, Sander. If Tenetti's getting a 4, I'm guessing the paper gave Dyson pretty much similar. I'll give him a 5 anyway.
Yeah, a 6 for Dyson Meader, John, in the newspaper. So maybe putting him through the middle gave him that wee extra point or 2. And Johnny Kenny up front, John, what was wrong with the big man? International hangover, possibly. But what you think, buddy?
Well, we only lasted half the game, and I was screaming for him to come off after 25 minutes, I think. It gets a 2.
Yeah, a 4 for the newspaper, John. Which is quite high, considering he only lasted the 45 minutes, John, to be honest with you.
It was poor. Well, I'm not having that nonsense 4. How's he getting 4? He never done anything.
Yeah, that's it, John. But that's what they got. So that's their scores. It's no mine. But John, you've got to think that's pretty low scores for a team that walked out of St Mirren Park, a very tough place to go with all 3 points.
It is, but you've got to take into account what they were up against. Like I said, St Mirren, they're not going to sit back and let Celtic run over the top of them. Stephen Robinson's got a good wee team there. He's got them well drilled, and it's hard for the players to. I mean, Liam Scales and Carter Vickers, Trusty were getting forward later on in the game, and they were spraying the passes about. and the St Mirren players looked a bit tired after that. They put a lot into that game, St Mirren. They were fighting tooth and nail to stop Celtic. And you seen the players on their knees after the goal. You seen them all on their knees. They couldn't believe it. And it is harsh on St Mirren. Let's be honest, it is harsh on them. But I don't care. But they're a good wee team. It's a hard team to beat, especially for Celtic. They seem to raise their game when it comes to Celtic, didn't they? And Rangers for that matter. They've turned Rangers over as well this season, St Mirren. So Celtic struggled at Celtic Park against St Mirren as well. You know, only beating them 1-0 there as well. Struggled at the end of the season against them. A bit of a bogey team for Celtic, but we managed to seem to scrape some kind of result against them. Celtic need to get this out their head that St Mirren are a bogey team. They're a bit of a bogey team. And I like St Mirren. I think Stephen Robinson's done a great job there. And it's a hard shift for the Celtic players, just after an international game as well. Hard international fixtures for the players. And you couldn't ask for a tougher venue to go to. So I think, if I look at the Celtic team as a whole, give it a 5.5 for the whole team.
Yeah, it was that type of performance, wasn't it, John? Right, obviously your man of the match is going to one man, but I'll ask you a question anyway. Who's your man of the match?
It's either Trusty or Scales, isn't it? Or Callum for his goal. I'll give it to Callum just for his goal. I think that was an outstanding finish. If it wasn't for Callum being on the park, we would never have got a goal, so I'll give it to Callum McGregor. Yeah,
when I turned my TV off, John, I wasn't very happy at all. Let's be honest. Like many people were at that point in the 94th minute. So yeah, Callum for me as well, John, because when I saw his name and a number one beside Celtic, John, that was just the perfect Saturday night for me. That it really was. All right, John, that's it then, John. The game is done and dusted. We move on to the next game, which is Feyenoord, isn't it, John? On Thursday night, European fixture, John. Feyenoord, they did lose their game at the weekend, John, against NEC. They did lose that one 4-2. That was a bit of a shock. I don't know if they've rested players or what, John. They were at home. They did lose the game. They conceded 4 goals at home, John. So, you know, I know that goes for nothing because it's totally different when Celtic come to town, as we said on the last podcast. But that's who we're up against next, John. It's Feyenoord away from home. Rangers are at home yet again. 2 Europa League games at home in a row. But we'll do that, John. In fact, that brings us on nicely to the predictor, John. We'll do a midweek predictor, and we'll do that just now, actually. And we'll start with the Celtic game, and that's the competition also, isn't it, John? So anybody that wants to get an early guess in for the Feyenoord game, you can wait till Wednesday if you want, or Thursday, that's fine. You can wait to see what the teams are, etc. But if you want to get your guess in for that league table on your left-hand side there, get your guess in just now, 1 guess each into the comments for the fantastic prize to get the 3 points. Get your guess in just now. And by the way, congratulations to Rosemary for getting Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. I forgot to mention that at the top of the programme there. She's got 3 points, so that's added to her current 3 points. That's her on 6 points. Well done, Rosemary. The only one that got it right. Right, John, Feyenoord, what do you think, buddy?
Feyenoord, well done. 1-0. That was a good guess. That's a tough call, that one, isn't it? It is a tough game. I think I predicted 2-0. But yeah, it's a very, very tough venue, so that's a good predictor. Well done, Rosemary. Feyenoord game. This team that...
sorry, John, would you want to wait till Wednesday before you give me your guess? Are you okay giving us it just now?
No, just go for it now, get it over with. I don't really mind.
Yeah, go for it then, John.
I'm just going to touch on Feyenoord playing against that team, whoever they were, NEC something, but the Dutch teams know each other pretty well, so the chances of them turning Feyenoord over are higher than the chances of Celtic turning them over, because they know each other well. They're watching each other every week. They play against each other all the time. It's the equivalent of, I don't know, maybe St Mirren taking a result off of Celtic. So I think because of that, the teams know each other well. There's every chance they could pull off a result against one of the big teams in Holland, Feyenoord, or one of the big teams. Let's not kid ourselves. So, going by Celtic's performances of late in the Europa League, getting smashed 3-0 by Midtjylland, who are top of the Europa League. We've got to take that into account as well. But I think Celtic are struggling just now, Xander. I really don't fancy Celtic's chances. I really, really don't. But teams like Feyenoord will open up against Celtic. You've got to take that into account as well. It's a tough call, isn't it? But I really don't fancy Celtic's chances against Feyenoord. And this is the first time I'm going to predict a Celtic loss on this podcast. I'm going to say 3-0 to Feyenoord.
That's a big loss, isn't it, John? I don't carry much hope for this either, John, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. I'm going to go with the draw, actually. I'll go the 1-1 draw against Feyenoord, John. Either way, good luck to Celtic anyway. You know, as you say, John, Europa League is not our priority at the moment, and that isn't an excuse. We've got bigger worries here at home for Celtic, John. We've got, major problems at Celtic that need ironed out. We've not even got a manager. So the Europa League, for me anyway, I know everybody has a different opinion. For me, it's not the priority just now. We need to get a manager in. We need to get the team settled. We need to get players in the door as well. We need to get players back to full fitness also, John. There's so many things going on at Celtic just now. I think you said a couple of weeks ago, it's just a hindrance to us just now.
It is. I've no time for it right now. It just annoys me that my mind's fully focused on the league table right now, getting to the top of that league table. If Celtic were settled, decent manager, whatever, I'd fancy Celtic going to Feyenoord and taking a result. But the current situation is bad at Celtic right now, and there's a bad atmosphere surrounding the club. And I've never went against Celtic on this podcast saying we'll get beat. And I hope Celtic players listen to this and they say, who's he kidding? Let's prove him wrong and go out there and get a result. I hope I'm totally wrong and Celtic go out there and smash him. I'm going to change it to 3-1 actually, just in case Celtic managed to get a goal. But I know Feyenoord's on the back of a bad result and I feel bad going against the team, but I hope I'm proven 100% wrong and Celtic go and finish Feyenoord off. But I can't, right now, the bad heavy cloud that's hanging over Celtic right now, I can't see it, Sander.
That's it, Jim. And there's no players due to return. Possibly possibly him. But again, I think the game might be too soon for him also, John. So we'll wait and see. Right, we'll continue this predictor then, John. Midweek predictor. This will take us up to Friday. Then we'll do another predictor for the weekend. But continuing this one anyway. It's Tuesday night, game in hand. Motherwell against Hibs, John. SPL game, Motherwell against Hibs. Is it Fir Park, this one?
Aye. I just wish Celtic were settled in right now. We need players like Hatate and all that to stop giving us 3 out of 10 performances in every game. They've got to go to up their games, and they've really got to up their game, the Celtic players. No all of them. Some of them are doing well, doing okay, but a lot of them have really got to start looking at the jersey and who it is they're actually playing for and put in a performance worthy of that jersey. And right now, I'm not seeing that from enough players, Hatate, Engels and all that stuff. We need bigger performances for the players. Because I'm not confident getting into games right now with them. Anyway, moving on.
Gregor's carrying the midfield just now, because your Engels, your Nygrens, and even your Luke McCowans, John, and your Rio Hatates, they're just not doing it at all just now. As you're right, John, you're bang on. We need more like 7 out of 10 performances at least, John, out of these guys. And then we won't be too far away in every game if that's the case. But no, as you say, we're getting 3s and 4s out of these guys just now. We need major improvements. You're bang on, John. It's not just the midfield, John. It's the forward line as well, who are not performing at this moment anyway, John. At this moment, the European game, St Mirren game wasn't great either. We're just looking for improvements, John. And considering, taking all that into account, John, having said all that, win our game in hand, win our game in hand against Falkirk, John, we're only 1 point behind Hearts.
Aye, well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, it's just this European stuff, I want it over and done with. I'm just dreading every time Celtic play in Europe now. But only the players can do something about that and rise to the occasion and start. I'm starting to sound like a blue nose here the way they talk about their team, but Celtic players, they're not putting in performances for me that's worthy of playing for Celtic right now. I mean, right now, I know they're good players, but they're just not putting in the performances. It's simple as that. You've got to put in a performance worthy of pulling on a Celtic jersey. And most of that team, like you says, the midfield and the front line are doing nothing. Callum McGregor excluded. I think if it wasn't for Callum McGregor, I think we'd be sitting a bit lower in that league tables, under.
Yeah. But we're still up there, and we now need to put that St Mirren game behind us, John, don't we? And look forward. And I know this final game is a hindrance to us. We want to get back into the next league game, John. That's what we all want. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens on Thursday night. A wee win against Feyenoord, you never know. It just might boost things up a wee bit. The atmosphere at the club just now is really poor, isn't it? All right, John. Motherwell against Hibs.
Motherwell won at the weekend, so did Hibs. 2 good wins.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Fir Park? I think Hibs will be too strong for them, though. I fancy Hibs for a narrow win here. 2-1 to Hibs.
Yeah, Hibs are back to being on form, aren't they? But Motherwell also back in form. I'll say 2-1 Motherwell. Okay, John, Partick Thistle against Neil Lennon's Dunfermline on Tuesday also. Lenny, what should we think? We also went to the weekend, by the way. Hello.
Sorry, 2-1 to Partick Thistle, Xander. Had the mute on there.
No bother. 2-1 to the Dunfermline, the Pals. Partick Thistle. At home, they're normally okay. I'll say 1-0 Partick in that one. And the Rangers against Braga on Thursday, John. Another game at Ibrox. I think I've already mentioned that. We'll have a wee word on the Livingston game as well here, actually. But I'll get your prediction for that one first, John. Rangers against Braga.
Don't really care, to be honest with you. This Europa League just annoying. But I think Rangers have got to get their first points on the board with this one. But they struggled against Livingston, didn't they? I'll go for a draw on this one. 1 each.
I think. No, Braga win for me, John. 2-0 to Braga. Okay, and Aberdeen against Noah also on Thursday, John. I've never heard of Noah, to be honest with you, but there you go. That's who they're playing at Pittodrie, John. Just a prediction for you in this one. And by the way, I didn't know that Stuart Armstrong played for Aberdeen, John. I didn't know they'd signed Stuart Armstrong. Because I watched a bit of the game yesterday, John. I saw Armstrong running a bit. I said, when did he sign for Aberdeen? But there you go, he did. But Aberdeen against Noah, John, on Thursday night.
Yes, I seen Stuart Armstrong a few weeks ago, and I never knew up until that point. Aberdeen against Noah, who play at the Arc Stadium.
Very good. Right, okay. Okay, but we're not at the Arc Stadium, John. We're at Pittodrie.
The Arc Stadium.
After a convincing, I would say convincing win against the Jam Tarts, John, who look as though the bottle has actually crashed, John. That's 2 draws and a defeat in the last 4, which puts us back up there near the top of the table again, and then we're playing Hearts again in a couple of weeks, actually, just a couple of weeks. But what do you think, John?
Aberdeen against Noah.
Yeah,
I know nothing about Noah. I've never heard of them. They don't sound like the kind of team that would pose a problem, does it? Noah doesn't sound like a football team. I don't know why, it just doesn't sound like a football team. But I know nothing about them, Xander. I haven't even looked at the Europa League Conference League. I've no idea how Aberdeen. I've not even seen any of their games. But I'm going to go for a Dons win. I think that'll give them a big lift. They see Hearts as a bit of a rival, Aberdeen, didn't they? They put in a performance, they put in a shift, the players were going down with cramp and all that stuff. I'm going to go for a Dons win in this one. I'm going to say 2-0 to the Dons against Noah.
Yeah, I think they'll get that win as well, John. Aberdeen, I'm not too sure about Noah either, to be honest with you. I'll say 1-0 to Aberdeen in that one. Okay. That'll give them 3 points in the Conference League. Okay, that's the predictor, John. 5 games in the predictor for the midweek one. We'll do another one at the weekend for the full weekend predictor. All right, John.
Well, I'm just looking at the Celtic fixtures coming up. So Hibs, obviously, they're playing in midweek against Motherwell, but they also play Celtic on Sunday. That's a 12 o'clock kick-off. Hibs against Celtic on Sunday. It's a big game for Celtic. They don't know what kind of result they're going to get in Holland, but they're up against Hibs. Who's Hearts playing at the weekend, do you know?
I'm not too sure, John. We looked that far ahead, to be honest with you. But is it Motherwell? Yeah, it's Motherwell, isn't it?
It's Motherwell, I think, aye.
Yeah. So,
away from home. So Celtic's away from home and so is Hearts. So let's just say worst case scenario, both teams draw. That'll keep them on the same points. Then the next Celtic game is Dundee at home. Now I looked at this a couple of weeks ago to see where Celtic would maybe be around about Christmas. Celtic's up against Dundee after that at home. And then we're up against Hearts. So there's only a couple of weeks before we play Hearts. The 7th of December we play Hearts. But there you go. So a couple of weeks before we play Hearts. And then we've got our game in hand against Falkirk. That could put us up the top of the league depending on results.
Yeah, dependent on all the results, as you say, John. Things are okay just now. We just wish we didn't have all these injuries. I really do. That's really affecting the team. It really is. And we may have a new manager in by then. Come that Dundee game as well, John. So we'll wait and see what happens with that as well. Is there anything else, John? Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
No, nothing. I was watching the Aberdeen game yesterday, and I like how they played Hearts. They actually played them off the park, to be honest with you. They're the better team. They started to weaken near the end. I know it's a Celtic podcast, but we never really touched on that game with Aberdeen and Hearts. But yeah, it just shows. I mean, I don't rate Hearts as a team. I've said it time and time again. They've been getting away with it. They've been riding their luck, even against Celtic. All their goals were assisted against Celtic. Totally rode their luck. And I think the luck has run out its under. I think you'll start to see a collapse for them. And Celtic, on the other hand, can only look after ourselves. Got to keep an eye on the team below us as well, the Rangers, who are starting to pick up a couple of results. But I think by the time maybe mid-January comes, I think both Celtic and the Rangers will be above Hearts. I predicted that a while ago.
Yeah, that's it, John. You did predict that Hearts would finish below both Celtic and Rangers. You did say that a few weeks ago when they were flying, so fair play to you on that one. And just a wee quick couple of seconds on the penalty Livingston did not get, John. What a disgraceful, I don't know if you've seen it, I know, but I've seen it. What a disgraceful decision. That is one of the worst I've seen. The guy hits the shot, it's on target, it's going out of the net. The Rangers player lifts out his arm, stops the ball from going into the net, no penalty.
I've seen it. It was a stonewall penalty. I don't know what I can say about it. I call it cheating. If the VAR's looked at that and says it's not a penalty, there's only one outcome to that, the one answer. Livingston have been cheated.
Yeah, Beaton went it. Was in charge of that one. Anyway. He wasn't even called over to the monitor, John, to have a look at it. That's how disgraceful a decision that was. And as I said earlier, John, it's all over the place, that. But anyway, nothing we can do about that, John. We can only look after ourselves. We will be back on Wednesday, folks, for the big preview of the Feyenoord game. We'll have a full preview of that. Not many people wanted to hear that, will they? But you never know, John. As I said earlier, miracles do happen. You never know. But we'll do a full preview anyway, with a full look at the team, John. Any injuries returning, the squad. We'll have a look at the full squad, any news surrounding the team, etc., etc. All the usual stuff that we do. We'll be back on Wednesday anyway. So well done to Celtic on Saturday anyway, closing that gap on Hearts, just the 4 points behind with a game in hand. Absolutely fantastic. Although the performance wasn't great, we'll take the 3 points all day long. John, we will catch up with you on Wednesday, buddy.
I'll catch you Wednesday, Xander. Hail, hail.
All right, John. Hail, hail. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you all very soon indeed. Thanks for now.
The Celtic Forever podcast is a zero advert and zero profit channel. The channel also includes Celtic highlights and player interviews, so join the uninterrupted fun and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.